Good evening and welcome to BronxTalk. 3 years ago, as part of his blueprint to re-energize the post-COVID economy, Mayor Adams made major investments in the film and TV industry with the goal of reaching more than 185,000 local jobs and $82 billion in total economic output, which is what the industry generated before the pandemic. Tonight on BronxTalk, the city's commissioner of the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment and her associate commissioner are here to talk about how programs like the Public School Film Festival, the Made in New York Awards program, and the NYC Video Game Festival are a part of that effort. So please join me in welcoming the commissioner of the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment, Commissioner Pat Swinney Kaufman. Nice to have you with us.
It is lovely to be here with you. Thank you.
And her associate commissioner is Alia Jones-Harvey. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with you, Commissioner. I took a quick look at the website of the Mayor's Office. Let's see, just at random: Office of Operations, Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, Office of Community Hiring, the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. How do we define what it is that you wake up in the morning and go to work and do every day?
And let me tell you, by the time we're through, you're going to say, that's the office I would want to work for if I was going to join in government, because of what we do is so exciting. You know, we're here to build and strengthen and support the creative economy of New York City. No better area to be working in than that. And we want to make it accessible to everyone. That's our big mission. And look at what a job we are doing. You mentioned, you were trying to compare it to what it was, or you were mentioning how was it before and now,
the pandemic,
right?
Yeah,
and just to let you know, because we've got 5 areas in the creative economy that we are responsible for, and that's film, television, music, live performance, digital games, and publishing. And already, let me just say that these parts of the economy create 440,000 jobs.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
You know, I'm going to go look back at the numbers I just quoted. They were talking about 185,000 jobs.
Wow.
So you're more than twice as many.
If you take all of the creative industries that I just named,
right,
it's 440,000 jobs, wow, and it has $150 billion. So, yeah.
Let's just talk about how you do that and what is involved in that whole package of jobs. Are these people who work at Madison Square Garden at concerts, for example, or are they people that the city hires? I mean, how do we summarize who these people are?
When we talk about how many people work in the creative industries, they're not all people that the city has hired, but rather these are people that are working in the industry for companies or independently as gig operators, whatever, for any one of many companies and opportunities for these different industries, which would include, working in film, television, I've said it. So
what are you? How did we create more jobs? How did we build the industry? One of the things in 2022, the mayor introduced the first ever film and TV Production Industry Council.
Yes.
Is that one of the things that helps fuel this economy?
Oh, absolutely, because having what the Industry Council provided an opportunity for was so that the representatives from all different parts of the film and television industry that are on the council can come to us, give us their recommendations, their concerns, give us ideas, so that we make sure that whatever we can change or whatever we can impact or improve, we will make that effort.
Associate Commissioner, let's get you into the conversation. Of course, I'm on television, so we know what the value of TV is to a social energy. What is aside from the economy, what does the creative industry do for the people of New York City? And of course, we're concerned about the people in the Bronx here on this show. So it's more than just creating the jobs, it's creating kind of a culture.
The culture for the city.
Explain how you see that.
Well, we believe that the creative industries are the lifeblood of New York City, and
You
make
noticed
New
Gary
York City,
smiled when you said that, but that's okay.
and make New York City the capital that it is, you know, and the attraction that it is. We think that the creative industries are what drive tourism. The creative industries are what drive people out in the evening to catch a show, to, you know, to experience what's been the type of art that's been created. And so without the creative industries, I think that our city would suffer. And we learned, I think, a really tough lesson during the pandemic.
The hard way. I could see.
Hard way.
She looked up and I was like, and she's about to say, we learned the hard way. Yes, go ahead.
During the pandemic, when everything was shut down, just how devastating it is for our city not to have the creative outlets that we need to thrive.
And let me just piggyback on what you
Of
said,
course,
because I think that part of why people want to be here, clearly the reason people want to be here is because of the creative industries. It's why the next generation, you know, the young people coming out of school, where do they want to go? They want to come here. And that is very much because this is the creative capital of the country. I mean, I think it's the creative capital of the world, but that's where they want to be.
You're not getting an argument from me on that, of course. I mean, especially in the Bronx, you know how we feel about who we are here in the Bronx. One of the things that's come out of this whole effort is this Made in New York Awards. I was not familiar with them, but it sounds so exciting that it's almost like, you know, the Academy Awards of, I almost said the Bronx, of New York City. Explain what the Made in New York Awards are.
So this is our way of identifying and honoring the people, individuals, as well as in some cases companies that have really made a difference and have really added to the strength of the creative economy. And we used to have, as much like 10 years ago, an event every year that was about the Made in New York Awards, and then that sort of slipped away. And so we're bringing that back because we think that the more we can celebrate the real achievers in the creative economy, the better.
And so let's see, it began with the Gotham Awards in December, right?
Well, there's a whole string of events.
That's what I wanted
happen.
to just.
Yeah.
So it's not just, you know, one big night. It's really, and to me, this is how you develop a new culture or an expanded culture, is by building it up. And then the American Cinema Eddie Awards on March 14th that I heard about. And then is there a celebration ultimately of the big Made in New York award show or something of that nature?
We are going to have an event.
That's what I'm waiting to hear about.
We are going to have an event, and we're very excited about it. And it's going to be in June.
In June, and can we say where? And can we start inviting people to join, or we're not allowed to say it?
We can say yeah. I got a thumbs up.
You got a thumbs up there?
It's going to be at Gracie Mansion in
at
the
Gracie
garden,
Mansion.
which is a wonderful place to have a celebratory event. So we'll be in the garden at Gracie Mansion, and we are inviting the sort of the real high stakes players and the leaders in the creative industries of New York to join us. In particular, in this go round, we're focusing on film and television, but we hope that this will be the beginning of a series of these sorts of events, and that we'll do one that'll be really primarily focused on Broadway, another that'll be focused on digital games and that whole world.
And you know, listen, the Academy Awards and the Emmys and all that and the Grammys, there's kind of a commission, there's a whole group of people who will judge the entries and all that kind of stuff. Who's going to be involved in that?
Our team. We've worked very hard with our team. Nobody knows this industry better than we do.
Oh, there you go.
And we're very excited because we think that we've identified people that really exemplify everything that the strength of New York's creative economy represents.
Among the things that I understand are involved in this are panels, a career expo, and all those kinds of things. Do you want to talk about some of the stuff that you've done?
I think you're referring to our New York City Public School Film Festival.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm.
That just held in Queens at the Museum of the Moving Image. It was an incredible day. We got to celebrate student filmmakers from all over the city, all 5 boroughs. There were students coming from 35 schools, including schools in the Bronx.
I have the names of some of those schools.
There you go.
Come on, let's hear let's hear the
But
Bronx
I've got the
schools.
names.
We shout in the Bronx. Let's represent.
So
Go ahead.
the Bronx Kappa International High School. One of the most popular films that got submitted was by a team from Bronx Kappa International High School. It was called I Thought I Knew You. There's the Bronx Theater Production Company School and the Bronx Early College Academy for Teaching Learning. They all had films in the festival.
Yeah, I have to tell you, folks, that I wasn't aware of this. I think it's the greatest thing because the kids who are doing whatever they do in school, nobody knows about, and kids making films. I mean, we have a couple of wonderful film organizations in the Bronx, Film Center and all those kinds of things, but I never knew that there was a public school thing. That must be pretty exciting. How many participants? Do you get entries? I mean, just talk about the scope of it. And then we have a video we're going to show, but go ahead.
Well, there were nearly 150 films in this year.
Yeah.
And the films aren't made by one filmmaker. It's usually a team.
Kids,
It's usually a team, an entire crew that puts together these films.
Do you inspire that, or did they just make the films and then you say, hey, we'll run them? Or do you really seed the cloud, so to speak, to make it happen?
So we partner with New York City Public Schools, and we are depending on a network of film teachers all over the city that are really encouraging students to create high quality films, and that's what we saw.
I'm just dying to know this. Maybe one day we could bring some of the youngsters in here, especially the Bronx youngsters.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, and they are great in interviews.
What are the kids talking about? What do they want to make films about? Do they make them about their neighborhoods? Do they make science fiction? Do they make horror movies? What do they do? What's their thing?
All of the above.
All of the above.
There are categories that span from narrative to animation, PSAs, music videos. So it's the gamut, and they're talking about
engage them here and have them do some editing here.
Absolutely.
That would be so exciting.
They're talking about subjects that are funny. Horror is definitely
it's out there. Yes, I knew it was. Yeah.
But then we even had a film this year that touched on a student who lost their father, and so they did a short film about their father. We've had films in the that have delved into issues of getting to and from school. School lunch, riding the train.
Us older folks, we don't, there's a whole level of life at the lower ages, and to me, really hearing what they talk about, I love it when youngsters. I mean, we have a wonderful photography groups in the Bronx, and they come back with pictures because they want to talk about their lives, and of course now with the availability of new technology, it's available to anybody. Okay, so can we show this sizzle reel from the New York Public School Film Festival?
That'd be great.
Ladies and gentlemen, the kids of New York City. Some of them are Bronx kids, of course. Take a look.
Everyone can watch a movie. The same way like body language can speak to everyone, movies speak to everybody.
And they can't wait, and they can't sleep, and they can't focus because all they want to do is make films.
I am so excited that my film Dear Admissions is recognized in Queens.
Brooklyn, Bronx,
Manhattan, Staten Island. The Public School Film Festival really showcases the incredible emerging filmmakers that are right here in front of us in our public school system.
Our documentary was about a writing center that was recently new to the school.
My film was greatly influenced by my own experiences with the college application process.
We usually take dramas that are happening right now in our society.
We got the inspiration from just living in New York. I mean, I love New York. It's been my home for my whole life.
I always wanted to make music videos ever since I was a little kid.
It's been a few days, it really feels like a year. Nobody should feel like this, living with fear.
Young people have something to say. They have a perspective on how they see the world in their own communities.
I have so many things I want to get off my chest. About me, about, my identity.
All cultures have a different view and different point of view when it comes to different problems. The important part is making sure everybody has a voice.
So many people have great ideas, and it's just cool to actually see them.
We've had students that have graduated with job offers to go work on another film set because they have the skills that a lot of people moving to this city don't know. Our students have that.
We have this wonderful panel of industry folks here for you today.
You have to be very open to feedback.
Once you get on set, you find connection and just network and just meet people, and good people like good people.
Please don't discount networking across. Grab the friend, grab the homie that wants to be a director, that wants to be an AP.
It was only after that I got accepted to this film festival that I really knew that I had it in myself to continue on it with college.
Being able to share the festival in parks allows communities throughout New York City to see the talent that's right in front of them.
This is amazing, man.
This is really surreal for me.
I'm kind of still in shock. It's incredible.
We can produce things that people want to see and people should see, and we should keep producing.
Well, there you go. I'm going to applaud. And they heard me say that I think this is just the most wonderful thing. And I really like that youngster who said, I have no way of talking about my identity or talking about who I am, and you make it available to them. So now they show the movies under the stars. Now we're recording this on the 8th. It's not going to air till the 12th. But let's see, Movies Under the Stars are screening at Washington Square Park May 9th and at Sunset Park on May 10th.
And they'll also be available online.
Wow.
So for people that are watching BronxTalk and missed the festival in person, they can see.
We're going to try and find some of these youngsters and bring them on.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
oh, sure.
They're great.
We'll talk to your office and try and figure it out. The other thing that was very exciting to me was the fact that they were industry professionals, and it gives them a chance to see what they do has an opportunity to be that. And that's how we really create jobs and inspire young people, don't we?
Yeah, and it's great, Chet, because the industry professionals that we reach out to get involved, they're so generous with their time. They come, they love doing it, and many will come back again and again.
The next thing I do want to talk about, which goes to you, Associate Commissioner, is video games and all the whole specter of this. This is it's new, right? That we have kids who do this. I don't do it, but the kids do. And you've now created a festival. Talk about the whole spectrum of it, and then we'll break it down a little bit.
Well, this kind of grew out of the pandemic. There were a few visionaries in Department of Education who decided to put together something called the Battle of the Boroughs.
Okay.
While kids were all online at the time, and in its third year, which was about 2 years ago, when we came back to being in person, they approached our office to partner with us to do an in-person finale, which is now the Mayor's Cup Battle of the Boroughs. And it's a Minecraft challenge where students are actually being prompted to build a more sustainable New York City inside of the game.
You know, to me, it's literally like opening up the light, because here the kids, they play at night, they play with each other, they communicate with each other, they come into school and they talk about it and all those kinds of things. And this is like opening it up and shedding light on it and saying, what you do is okay, there's something to learn from it, there's something to develop from it.
It actually celebrates the fact that the work and the time that these kids are spending on these video games, it's not a waste of time. It's actually skill building.
Well, so that's then the next question is, how do we take what they do in the video games, which parents are like, oh, they waste so much time on the video games, but how do we take that and make that something that is good for their growth, for their education, and for, of course, their ultimate development as people?
Well, that's what spawned this idea of the New York City Video Game Festival. So we will have the first ever New York City Video Game Festival on May 31st.
The Mayor's Cup.
The Mayor's Cup will happen at the Video Game Festival. We'll have a statewide collegiate competition, including CUNY schools, SUNY schools, private colleges that'll be competing. But, you know, it was so important for us to tie what skills are being gleaned from playing video games to careers that we've been building out an expo each year, and so it's just grown and grown and grown each year. And it's an expo that includes colleges that have game development programs, you know, private industry that's interested in seeing who the future developers might be, coders might be.
I just think it's great because, as I said, the kids do it alone, and then this is an endorsement that what you do is okay, and it can develop into something else. Thank you, and congratulations for doing it.
I think the thing that we've really connected this year, you know, in the 7th year of the Public School Film Festival, and now the 3rd year of us doing Battle of the Boroughs, is bringing parents out with the students so that they can see that what they're doing does have a through line into career opportunities. And that's really what our office is here for, you know, to really ensure that the talent pipeline.
And for schools and others, they can contact the office and get involved, and you can, of course, help them do that. I want to ask you about Seats on the Spectrum. I think that's just such a fascinating and important program, so if you could just address that, I would be thrilled.
Yeah, this is a great program that we've got, that we've been very involved in and helped to start. It's to make sure that people who are, wherever they are on the spectrum, have the opportunity to go to Broadway shows and off-Broadway shows and that sort of thing. So these are partnerships that have been set up so that individuals who perhaps might not feel comfortable going to see a Broadway show.
Or have their parents bring them to a Broadway show.
Yeah.
You give them the opportunity to do that. All right, so now everybody's going to stand up and applaud because this is what we need to do for all the people of the city of New York. I want to ask you both, and you can weigh in on this, and this is a personal thing for us here at BronxNet. Community media networks like BronxNet provide opportunities for students and the public, of course, to learn media skills and access media technology, just like what you're working on. Why is what we do, public access television, important for this community awareness and engagement? And how do community centers, media centers like BronxNet benefit all the people that you work with, aspiring filmmakers and other content creators?
Well, you're a major source of this information. You're an incredibly important way for the folks that watch your station and visit your website to learn about opportunities that are out there and to be inspired by what's out there that they can try. You're an amazing resource in all of that.
You're going to try and get an argument from me? No, that won't happen. I'm in total support.
You're also an amazing source of talent. I mean, to understand that BronxNet is training over 200 people a year that are then going out into the workforce and supplying this talent pipeline.
I will add, not only in production, but I teach TV performance, so we teach people how to do this kind of thing. The other thing which I thought about in talking about the film industry, We got to bring it up. There's a federal tariff, a 100% federal tariff about to happen on films shot abroad. What should independent filmmakers know about the advantages of filming here in the Big Apple, and what can independent filmmakers do to make the filming of their projects more affordable?
Well, in fact, I mean, that's very much.
I mean, we want to encourage this whole industry. Go ahead.
To be here, to do that. We always want to encourage them to film in New York. We have all the resources they need. We have the studios, the space, we have the talent, we have the crews above and below the line. We've got everything that is needed, and now it feels ever more important that we make that known to potential filmmakers. That come here, everything you need is here, because the pressure of the possibility of the tariff, we don't know where that's really going. Why worry about that? Make your projects here in New York.
Again, I vote yes on that recommendation, and especially in the Bronx. We've got film studios, we have great talent.
York
and great
Studios,
people.
Isn't that here in the Bronx? I do believe it is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
One last thing I want to ask you about, returning for its 8th year is New York Music Month. I host one of the programs on BronxNet, is the Bronx Music Podcast. Talk about New York City Music Month. You want to talk about it?
It's a great program. In June, we sort of put our arms around all the activity that goes on in June that has to do with music and promoting music, and we publicize it, and we invite everyone to come and participate, and we do a one-day conference at Skirball Center at NYU with terrific, again, professional speakers.
We get to celebrate New York music. Of course, we believe in the Bronx. We invented all of it, but that's another whole story. Listen, you folks are just absolutely fantastic. We appreciate what you do, Commissioner Pat Swinney, Kaufman. Thank you so much. Associate Commissioner Alia Jones-Harvey, thank you so much. This, to me, is really how we talk about all the other things on this show about housing and economic development, but to me, this is how you build a great city, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you both for joining us. We thank everybody. We thank our producer. He sat in today. Thank you so much, Joe Boomchan, for pitching in. Director Will Guzman, Urelis Encarnacion on graphics. Ian Neville is on audio. Katrina Kelly on the floor with us. Hi, Katrina. Thanks for joining us. And the editor unseen is Yessi Diaz. We have a cast of thousands who work with us here in the studio. And, of course, to you, too. It is the people of the Bronx that make this all work. So if the curtain don't fall and the creek don't rise, yeah, I'll be back next week.